And so we're going to continue with the euro pairs, and of course the very first candidate would be the euro Swiss. And I want you to look now at the chart of the euro dollar, so we can gauge the strength of the euro. And if we go now to the euro Swiss, you can see that explosive move. And of course, this is more selling that's coming in to the Swiss than it, again, and of course, people are jumping in to buy the euro, or they were chasing buying the euro Swiss, they were chasing buying the pound Swiss, they were chasing buying the Aussie Swiss, they were chasing buying the yen Swiss, if you will, or the Swiss yen, selling the Swiss yen, because again, all the action, the selling was in the Swiss. So if we look at the daily chart, again, this is pretty much all-time low. You're looking at the abyss. I mean, there's nothing but, I mean, this is, I mean, believe it or not, the dollar, the euro and the Swiss were coming to parity. I mean, if you look at this chart, guys, this is very telling. At one time, you would take one Swiss franc, one euro, and you get approximately 1.65 centimes Swiss. So practically 1.65 Swiss franc. Last week, we actually were pretty much close to 1 by 1. We actually came to parity. That if you take 1 euro, they will practically give you 1 Swiss franc. So that means that the euro in the last 3 years, from the mid of 2008 or the beginning of 2008 up till now, has lost close to 50% of its value versus the Swiss franc. And this means also that the Swiss products, goods and services, tourism, everything has become twice as more expensive to all the Europeans that are using the euro as a currency. And that's why you can see why the Swiss National Bank is actually freaking out, because this is extremely detrimental to the Swiss economy, whether you're looking at tourism industry, exports. The industries that are withstanding themselves in Switzerland are basically the ones that are close to necessities, are either chemical, medications, stuff that people will have to pay. I mean, they don't have that price elasticity. If they need to buy it, they have to buy it. So whatever the price is, they have to get. But still, if the prices keep on going high, then that is going to be extremely detrimental to the Swiss economy. Now, that's why if you look at this chart, the idea or the statement that the Swiss authorities have been coming up with by saying that they will peg the Swiss franc to the euro, which means that they will kind of fix the exchange rate. I mean, in one format. I mean, that's the easy way to translate that statement. Is that if you have 1 euro, for example, they're going to make it is equal to 1.25 Swiss franc. So whatever happens to the currency, you will always get the 1.25. And this kind of thing is happening now, like all the Gulf region is pegging their currency to the dollar. So in the United Arab Emirates, for example, now I think the rate of exchange is like 3 to 1 or something. So one US dollar is equal to 3 or 300, whatever that is. So it will always be the same. I mean, if the dollar crashes and it goes down to 0, you will still take that 0 and they will give 123 dirhams, and something quite similar to the Saudi riyal. And of course, it affects these currencies, their purchasing power, because they only convert it into US dollars, and this is what I think the Swiss National Bank is trying to do by pegging, or saying that they will peg, they haven't done that yet, is that means that the Europeans will be able to buy the Swiss goods and services at a consistent rate of exchange. So if it's equal 2 to 1, it will always be 2 to 1. So the European will be able to go to Switzerland, the European will always be buying the Swiss product at a fixed rate of exchange. Well, whether this will succeed or not, I don't know. I mean, I'm not an economist and I really wouldn't know, but it remains to be seen, and that's why we have to look at that with a great deal of interest, because if that's the case, this thing is going to go upwards towards somewhere around the 124, because there's no point they're going to peg it over here. So they're going to keep on thrashing it to the upside, and of course people are terrified right now. So what they will do is they are going to try to get out of the Swiss franc until they see what ideas the Swiss National Bank is going to come up with. So with that, we need to be looking at buying the euro or selling the Swiss, and by having those big ranges, we could have a couple of more 2 good days to the upside. So, but we need to make sure that it is trading taking out the highs. And if you look at the intraday chart, this is magnificent. Look at it, just one trend after the other, one trend after the other. All those pullbacks survey are all gifts. So again, we're just gonna, and we closed at the 101.76, which is pretty much the high of the day. So our buying point is easy. The high of the day is 110.09, so basically 20 pips away. We closed at 110.76. The high was 110.93, so it's only 20 pips away. So we're just going to buy it right above the 110.93. That is going to be our buying point. If I buy it above the 110.93 over here, then I have to place my stop right below this. I mean, these are the points where the market has held. So I will place my stop below 109.20. And of course the next structural point is way up. I'm going to find it from the daily chart. On the short side, I need to look at the intraday to see where I can take it short. The only place I can see taking it short is below the 106, because I have these 2 structural points. They are significant points, not structural points. So I need to make sure that, because the trend is so strong to the upside, I need to take it below the 106.16. So my short is going to be below the 106.16. And I'm going to use the 106.16 as a minor structure point, because the other structure is way down about 1,000 pips away, so it doesn't do me any good. So I'm going to use that also as a minor structure point. Okay, and in this case it will also be my stop. Okay, and on the long side by 109, I need to find the structure long. And that's at the 124.12. So that's good. This means I have another 1,000 pips to the upside before I hit the next structure. And that is the 123.44. That is my structure point. So to wrap up the Euro Swiss, we're going to buy it above the 110.93, and if we do, our structure long is the 123.44, and if I do, I'm going to place my stop below 109.20, so I'm risking about 80 pips on that trade, but that's what I have to do. On the short side, my short point and my structure short point and my stop are one and the same at 106.16. Okay, that is the euro